beyond meat and plant-based fucking meat, don't fucking buy it. That is 100% ultra processed food. That's absolute dog shit. It's just a marketing and a fucking scam. Don't fucking buy it. Welcome to Fueling Your Life podcast. Today we are going to talk about a balanced diet. So in this we will cover what you should notice, the sensation in your body, how you build it as a habit, what is a healthy diet, and what is a good example. Because there's a lot of information out there that you shouldn't eat meat, you shouldn't eat dairy, you should just be vegan. No, then we have this new special diet that's the perfect one, and blah blah blah. But it's way more nuanced and will also be different from people to people or person to person. Because at the end of the day, as long as we eat food that is clean, both for GMOs, pesticides, and it's basically just animals, vegetables, and fruit in every single combination, what works for you, what makes you thrive, what gives you energy, what makes you stay focused, is the best option for you. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, before we start, we have to define what is a healthy diet. And I looked up in where there have been conducted research, a study and published in the National Library of Medicine. It's called Defining a Healthy Diet, Evidence for the Role of Contemporary Dietary Patterns in Health and Disease. But they basically come up with a definition that says that a healthy diet is one in which macronutrients are consumed in an appropriate proportion to support energetic, physiologic needs without excess intake, while also providing sufficient micronutrients and hydration to meet the physiological needs of the body. And that's basically, when we say cover everything that you need to know, that is basically you need to have a diet that makes sure you get all your nutrients to a sufficient level. And I think in this case, the basically, because there are different levels. So you have a deficiency level. If you go below that level, you will become deficient in your nutrients. If you go above it, you're of course not deficient, but then you also have a level where it's the optimal level, where you will gain the most benefits from getting all your vitamins. And what we basically want is to, with our diet, we want to get above the deficiency level in all aspects. And sometimes you need more of one vitamin, sometimes you need more of a mineral, and it all depends on how you compose your diet. So for example, the recommended amount of vitamin C is very high, but if you're on a carnivore diet, you actually don't need that much vitamin C, as you're not intaking any glucose, so the pathway for vitamin C is wide open and it's not conflicting with any other nutrients. So my own definition, I probably also have to rewrite it a bit, but it's basically a composition of food that aligns with your biological needs, that is built through the evolution of human to eat animals, vegetables, and fruit. The diet is a composition that gives you the maximum amount of nutrients you need and makes your body thrive. And that's my definition, which is basically just describe that you want to eat food in a way that gives you all the nutrients that you need, at least so you create a baseline where you can go above being deficient. And that's what it's all about. You want to make sure you have quality food, and you eat meat organ meat, vegetables, and fruit. And then you cut out all the other bullshit. So usually when you hear about a diet, is also mostly in the combination of losing weight. So most people go on a diet to lose weight, and then you have smaller cases where you go on a diet to cleanse your body in a certain way from different toxins. But let's say uh, your goal with a diet is to lose weight. So first of all, it's not that good goal because it's very short term, but it's also good in the sense that you have you can measure it. You have specific targets that you can go for. But there always the problem is, what are you doing, or what do you do when you hit your target weight? What do you do? Because you did the diet, you hit the weight. So what do you do? Do you go back to what you eat before? Because then you just gain all the weight again. Because that way you're eating that diet, have you gained all that weight, and then you have to start doing it all again to lose the weight. And we actually see from studies that in 1 year, 90% of all people will gain the weight back. So it's just a terrible a way to go about it, because if you focus more on how your body feel, not in your brain, but how your stomach feel, then you will be able to create a more long-term habit and sustain it better, because you have to mix between embracing the pain and also embracing the good feeling you get in the body, because our brain is built to avoid pain, because pain equals death and we don't want to die. So in that way it can help us push. So when we start getting a better diet and we experience, okay, we feel better, and as soon as we lead back to maybe ice creams, we start feeling, oh, how bad we feel, and that helps us keep pushing further, maintain the good diet, maintain the good habits, because that's essentially what it's all about, is following key principles that is created into a habit and become part of your lifestyle to live a healthy life. And in that way you will be able to manage your weight way more, as you cut out a lot of all the processed food, all the junk food, and all these more bad food that is for you. So with that said, it's also the good habits are always the hardest to start, because the benefits are not coming right away, and that's why you see with the bad habits they have the pleasure and the reward right away, because that's how they creep in and they make you stick to them, and also what makes them more addictive and harder to get rid of, because they give immediate pleasure, where a healthy diet, it takes a while. It takes at least 2 weeks to a month before you start seeing and feel the benefits. So what you want to do is that you want to add as many small wins as possible, and we want to make it so ridiculous simple and easy for you that you cannot fuck it up. So what I will do, because a lot of it also learn how to cook, learn how to use vegetables, meat, and different seasoning and herbs and so on. So what you want to do is choose one day a week that you can commit to. Try a new recipe each single week that only has animal, vegetables, and fruit. In this way, you will start learning how to cook with only these ingredients. You will learn what you should pick of fruits, how do you prepare meals, which recipes do you like, and how do you actually make it taste good. Because a lot of us also want the food to taste good, be good, and if you can start out breaking down the barrier on how you make it and make it taste good, so it's not you just think, oh, this now I have to eat this boring thing, then it makes it much easier to progress further, because then all of a sudden you've done this for some weeks, and then all of a sudden now you have 10 recipes that you can work with and start implementing throughout the week. One of the easiest meals of the day to start with is breakfast. That if you change your breakfast, then it's way easier to handle. So, with all that said, then a good example of a healthy diet is the blue zones. But before we get into it, blue zones is small pockets of people that live to an average age of 100. But it's not just the way they eat, but it's a lifestyle. So everything from their plates, how they move, and everything. So to give you an example, they will, in terms of exercise, they will walk throughout the day. They also practice a faith. They have community. They have the sense of feeling that they belong to a group. Also, their plates are way smaller, so you don't necessarily overeat. And also in the Japanese blue zone, that they have a concept that is you eat to your 80% full, because it takes some time for your body to, from the moment you eat, to then notice that, okay, now you're full. But basically, in the blue zone says that they don't eat that much muscle meat, and more use it for like celebration. Um, and also you have to bear in mind most of them are small islands, so they're mainly access to the ocean, so they eat less meat, muscle meat, but they eat also more fish and also eggs and so on. But one main thing is they eat a cup of beans every day as minimum. They eat a handful of nuts, and they have a limit of 1 glass of wine at dinner. So there are some certain key things here you need to know, also especially when it becomes more nutrients, because something like beans, organ meat, eggs, fish, they all have also nuts. They all have what you can call, or what we call a compound nutrient dense food, which basically means there's a lot of nutrients, different types of nutrients. So protein, carbohydrates, maybe fats, minerals, vitamins, for a very small amount of calories. So these types of food makes it very essential to eat, because it helps you get a lot of the nutrients that you need, and it's then also combined with a lot of fiber, especially in beans and so on, which help slowing down the absorption. So you are able to absorb way more of the nutrients. And that actually leads us into the universal principles that you can follow to live a healthy life, have a healthier diet. And it's very simple, because you can do it anywhere. So the first thing is you want to drink water. We want to drink water to stay hydrated. It both helps our skin, it helps against migraines and so on. And with water, we can actually do also a trick that helps us not to overeat during meals, and that is if you just drink maybe 500 milliliters to a liter before your meal, and you just like chug it down, because in that way you will get a sense of fullness without actually being full, and that can help you not eating as much food. And for me, that is great. Not actually, I should probably do it more, but I'm not really do it. But for me, it will definitely help, because I just eat, so I cannot eat anymore. But for example, in the morning, I always wake up and a bit hungry, but then I chuck down a bottle of water, so it will be a liter. Water I just chuck down, and then it helps me stay stay full for through my workout and a bit further before I eat my breakfast. Then we also have intermittent fasting, and it basically means that you don't snack in between your meal. You mostly want to eat 2-3 meals a day. There's called some longevity stuff where you only need to eat a one meal a day. Maybe some only eat every other day to get this time between when you eat and when you don't, to mimic our ancestors when we were hunter gatherers. Because the thing is, our body needs to have time to relax for food. So because every time we eat, we spike insulin, and insulin when we spike insulin, it helps us to store the nutrients that we just ate. And as long as we have nutrients activated and floating around, then we will not be able to burn off any of the nutrients because we are in this storing mode. So we want to give our body time to relax and calm down. This will then turn into us starting using the nutrients, and it's a good way to help manage our food intake. So I'm working with a 8-hour window to eat. So I try to eat between 10 to 18, where I eat 2 to 3 meals a day. And when you live this way and combine with the other ones I'm about to mention, you will notice that you get a lot of energy, you get a lot of nutrients, you get a lot of all the needs, and reduce a lot of cravings too, which is a big one. That actually our cravings is basically just our body telling us, hey, we need to eat more of this. And it's usually people have the sugar craving, so that you crave candy. But what is in candy? That's sugar. What is sugar? That's sugar is energy. So you're actually not craving candy, you're craving energy. And that's a key part to understand, because that means you either need to get more sleep or you need to eat food that's more energy. Especially here, then you can eat fruit, as it has fructose, which give a way better like energy level throughout the day. So going into the next is that you want to eat whole food, or also one ingredient food. So there will be meat, organ meat, vegetables, fruit, that stuff. There's only one ingredient. If you are going to buy something that is more like processed food, try to limit it to max 5 ingredients. And there's a saying that if you don't know what's in it when you read the ingredient list on the package, and you don't know what the fuck the ingredient is, then it's probably not good for you. But if you can recognize the ingredients, that is okay, that has some pepper or maybe some other stuff, then you can feel safe to eat. I know, even though you might know all the 4 or 5 different oils that's in the vegan and all the vegetables that in the Beyond Meat and plant-based fucking meat, don't fucking buy it. That is 100% ultra processed food. That's absolute dog shit. It's just a marketing and a fucking scam. Don't fucking buy it. It's shit. Has nothing to do with meat. It's no nutritional value. Just throw it out. The next thing is you want to follow the principle eat the rainbow. So eat the rainbow is basically just you want to eat as many different colors of vegetables, because in this way you will get all your nutrients, because each color has more of a certain nutrient than others. And following this principle can help you help you maximize your nutritional needs. And it also, if you're making a salad or just cooking a dish, it also helps you make the food way more like colorful, and it becomes way more attractive to start eating and enjoying the meal. The last point is that you want to eat 1 gram of protein per kilogram body weight. This will help you to just as a normal person. If you're not working out, it helps you to maintain the muscle breakdown that you have throughout the day. Of course, if you're working out, you want to eat protein from that starts from 1.6 to 2.2 at least. And then if you're a bodybuilder, you might want to eat more than 2.2 grams of protein. And so following these principles, you can use them anywhere in the world, and it helps you get the proper nutrition. So for example, let me give you an example. Especially if you're on a vacation, it's always not the best food you can get. But it's always possible to get meat. And for example, for breakfast, they always have these bread rolls, and then you can get some meat to put on top, some cheese, or something like that. But one thing you can do is there's always some sort of yogurt. You can add maybe some fruit in. Then you also have a bunch of eggs you can eat. And sometimes they make it also as an omelette. So yogurt, fruits, and eggs. When you're on a vacation and still want to maintain a good diet, for breakfast, if you eat those 3 things, it will help you maintain a lot of your nutrients. That you will of course have a lack in most of your nutrients, and you have to add up for it when you get back home. But the essential nutrients, you will have those. And with the yogurt, you will also get a lot of calcium. You will get a lot of fat that helps you to just slowly burn energy throughout the day as you're on vacation. And it can also, because fat is more saturated, it helps you feel more full faster and for longer. Then it can also help you not eating so many bad things and make bad food choices during your stay. So yeah, that was it for today's episode. Fueling your life. I have decided just to update that there's new episode every Monday at 8. So see you next week. Coach Jesper out. Peace.